Hello and welcome to Barbara's podcast. This is the show for women, all about health, nutrition, and wellness. It's the show that will empower you and inspire you to create a healthier lifestyle.
Well, hello and welcome to the show where we explore the world of holistic health and wellness. Today, I'm excited to introduce Clarissa Burt, founder and CEO in the Limelight Media, multimedia platform consisting of TV, video, a podcast, and a digital magazine. Her internationally award-winning best-selling book is entitled The Self-Esteem Regime. Welcome, Clarissa.
Hello, Barbara. How are you doing these days? I know we tried to do this once before, and we're finally getting it done. Yes.
I know.
Women that never give up.
Never. Well, your journey is inspiring. So from international supermodel to women's advocate and media mogul is truly inspiring. What inspired this powerful evolution?
I really think it was started, when I was very young. And I think, young girls, as we do, we look up to our mothers and our grandmothers, and there were different times, there were different rules, regulations, and such. And so living at home with my mother, who I adore, but, watching her live in a relationship that was quite toxic was a lot for a little girl to take in. And I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why she would stay in a relationship that was toxic. Again, remember, they were different times. Women didn't have the occasions and the possibilities back in the 50s that they have today.
Yes.
But it was still a question for me. And then my mother just, couldn't stand it. I was a beautiful woman. My mother's a lovely looking lady. I didn't want her picture taken, couldn't have her picture taken. I come out horrible in pictures. She was always worried about her weight. She was always very thin. And so her perception of herself wasn't this perception that I had of her. And I couldn't understand why she was so negative about herself. Grandmom, kind of the same story. And that was grandmom felt that she needed to lose a few pounds. So she took some, diet pills one day. She choked on them, perforated her esophagus and wound up in the hospital for 6 days. I think it was about 10 then. And I'm going, what the heck? Like, in my eyes, you look amazing. You're beautiful. You're perfect. What is it that you don't see that I see? And I really think that that's where it started. Fast forward many years when I started modeling, and I was able to work with, the 1% of the most beautiful women in the world. And even there, it wasn't a matter of, I found out that self-esteem had nothing to do with how beautiful you were or you weren't. Maybe you weren't as pretty as some other girls. And I know a lot of young girls go through that, comparing themselves to others, right? And so I couldn't understand what it was. Why were they in toxic relationships? Why were they bulimic and anorexic? Why were they, doing drugs and drinking? Not a lot, but some of the girls. And it tied back to, what was what did my mother and grandmother have in common with these gals that I was working with, or some of the gals that I was working with? And there you go. The answer is lack of happy, healthy self-esteem. So it was really important for me to just kind of get this book out. I really wanted to get it out. It's been out now for almost 4.5 years. It's been in Barnes & Noble nationwide in the United States. And I've got it here in 4 years in Italy, where I am right now, the last 4 years in all the national bookstores here as well. So I'm trying to find all the countries I can get to and continue to, spread the word about happy, healthy self-esteem and just how important it truly is for our lives.
I do. I believe there's many women that suffer from low self-esteem.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Social media makes it worse.
Yes, it does make it worse because therein lies, another tool for comparison. And that's, one of the things that, again, self-esteem 101, never compare yourself to anyone else. And that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And it's that same old story about the grass is always greener on the other side. And so my question to you is the grass always greener on the other side, or is the grass always greener where you water it?
Yeah.
And so bring that back home. Bring that back to self. Make sure you're doing all the things, and we'll talk about the 4 pillars, very simple 4 pillars of self-esteem. And the second thing about that, grass being greener on the other side is it really grass or is it astroturf? In other words, is it fake? Therein lies the perception many times that we pick up from social media, that maybe it's not true what we're seeing. Maybe what they want us to perceive is more than what is the truth. And by the way, I'm always very happy for people when I see them having, like really kicking butt and taking names. I think that's amazing. And we should all be, one another's rah-rah session and cheerleaders when it comes to another woman's success or anybody's success. But, if it's filtered, if it's not true, if it's not authentic, then we need to take a look at that and just stop comparing. Look, we were created by all that is great. Call it whatever you want, all that is powerful and all that is mighty. That's who created us. Again, you can put whatever name to that you want. And I'm going to submit that an almighty power knew exactly what they were doing when they created you. And that for us to second guess that, why would we want to second guess who we are? I mean, we were given so much. So many of us are so blessed. The gratitude part of self-esteem is something that we should wake up to every day with at least 10 things we're happy and grateful for. So whereas our lives might not always be perfect, we're not striving for perfection all the time, but we can strive to be the best person that we can possibly be and to be a better person tomorrow than we are today. Our competition is who we are today and who we were yesterday. That's what we need to be comparing to, not to anyone else.
I agree with you. It's all in our own self-development and how we can become better and better every day.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, going back to your book, you outline some steps to help readers live more esteemed lives. What would be the first crucial step someone could take to build an authentic self-esteem?
Yeah. Well, the first thing in the book is release. And so that is extremely important because that's where we get to get rid of all of the things that we're taught, that were brought forward, that we don't necessarily agree with, that are not serving us, and that, we need to be mindful of. Right. So we want to thank everybody for all of the lessons and all the things learned, but they may not necessarily be serving us. So release all of the things that aren't working or aren't serving. And when I say serving, it means for your highest good, for your greater good. That's extremely important. There may even become a time when you've got to release some people and release relationships. And that's, where the really good, strong sense of courage comes in. You've got to have the courage to do the work. You've got to have the courage to make the ties, cut some relationships off. And it might be, completely or at least distance a little bit, right? And that's where we have to, because it's not for our greater good. If it's a toxic relationship, it's a relationship that's not serving us any good. Here, an example would be somebody says something to you and it hurts, and so you want to just clear that up in a really kind and loving way. Hey, listen, can we have a chat real quick? I just want to kind of let you know that, when you say whatever you just said to me, it kind of hits, it really hits. And I was hoping that we could have a chat about that. Oh, somebody says to you, I am so sorry. That is not what I meant at all. Thank you for calling me out on that. It will never happen again. You know how much I care about you. Great. You're in a really healthy relationship there. But if somebody retorts with, oh, come on, get over yourself for God's sake. That's not, you're so sensitive. Just get over yourself. Ding, 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 red flag. That's where you need to go. Okay, we need to distance this person. Not because it's anything mean or nasty, but those are your boundaries. And boundaries are meant to be put in place so that you teach people how you will and will not be treated, right? And that's on you. So this is where I say you're going to have to take now I'm not saying be triggered by every little thing. That's not what I'm about. But also having enough love for yourself. And that is the biggest lesson of all, is learning that love for yourself. So when you start standing up for yourself, you start advocating for yourself, and start creating those boundaries, well, then you know that you're in a good place and that you're starting to create healthier, happier relationships too.
Absolutely. It's such a foundational
Yeah.
step, which is so
Yeah. Yeah.
important, the
Yes.
self-love, self-respect.
Absolutely.
I often talk to my clients about making small promises to self, and
Yes.
one of the first steps may actually not even be about nutrition. It's about prioritizing self-care.
Yep. And people, a lot of women have trouble with that whole self-care. Don't have the time. Well, you've
Yeah.
got time to go get your hair cut and colored. You got time to get your nails and feet done potentially. You've got time for many other things, but that one piece of self-care where it's really about decompressing, stepping back, getting away from the computer, getting away from the stressors. Let's put it that way. And, because when we go and get our hair done, and that's kind of a pleasure thing, right? The hands and feet, that's also a lovely pleasure thing. And that definitely is important. But, the moment where we can say, I will now demand of myself that I put into my calendar, just like I would any other appointment, a work appointment, the veterans appointment for the dog, veterinary, appointment for the dog, taking my children to whatever camp or whatever, ball game. That's mom time. That's me time. Could be Saturday from 9 to 11 in the morning. You could be dropping off your kids with, a play date. And then that next Saturday, you're taking that lady's, children, so that, you work a way out, right? So that then she can go and have her time off. There are ways around, I don't have the time. There's time. You just have to, find new ways sometimes of making the time for yourself. So yeah, definitely make that a priority. Absolutely priority, and absolutely get that in. And it's a non-negotiable. It goes in that calendar and it doesn't come out now. Of course, there are things in life that, we absolutely have to cancel things for, and that's fine. But, really, really putting a boundary around it's me time, and it could be more than 2 hours. I make it up. It could be it could be the morning, it could be the whole day, whatever you decide for you.
Okay. Well, you talk about the look good, feel good, be good,
Greater good.
greater good philosophy. Yeah. Can you break that down for us and how it plays out in everyday life?
So look good, feel good, be good, and greater good. Look good is, our outside, outside, our aesthetic.
Yeah.
The second one is look good, feel good, diet, exercise, nutrition, wellness.
Okay.
Be good, business, finances, leadership, relationship. In other words, who we are at the core, like who we are as thinkers, like what are we thinking about? What do we need to get in place? What do we need to better in those categories that makes our lives sort of gliss easily, just sort of eases up on those stressors. And greater good is giving back, paying it forward, tithing, volunteering, whatever it is you prefer to do. And many times the greater good starts at home. Doesn't have to be broad stroke. Well, Clarissa, I don't really have a lot of money right now. I mean, I can't be donated. Okay, great. How about a compliment? How about holding the door open for somebody when they're running for the elevator? Or how about helping a woman down the stairs with a baby carriage? Or, how about offering your elderly neighbor, a dinner every once in a while, just take it over. So, things that you can, are going to help another individual. It doesn't have to be, saving the world, just the little things that will make you feel better and them feel better. That's where I call it. It's just when it's a win-win. And again, it could be a compliment. Oh, that top looks so great on you. I'm walking through a supermarket and I'll just leave a compliment, and oh, well, oh, thank you. Yeah. So that, it sounds silly sometimes. It sounds so almost trifling. It's like, oh, well, that's simple, but are you doing it? And then again, I've never seen that woman before. I'll never see her again, most likely, but I've left her with a compliment, made me feel great to do it. And I think it kind of brightened her day too. There are so many people that are going through some really heavy things, and we never know what's going on in someone else's life, right? In doing the work for this book, I was able to find out things about myself, whether it be that I'm an extra sensitive person, and that's a whole thing on itself, or that even there were things on the autistic spectrum. Spectrum of autism is quite vast, right? And so there were things, as I was reading a book called Asperger's, And I was like, wow, check, 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 check. I thought to myself, well, there you go. I was able to find some of the reasons why I am made the way I'm made, I think the way I think, and I am the way I am, that gave me grace. I found grace in that. I found forgiveness. I found more kindness. And so if we're able to come to the table every day with a look good, feel good, be good, and greater good philosophy, knowing I'm bringing the best of me all the time. Look, we're not always perfect. We're human and things are going to trigger us, and we work on those as well. But when you have, as a mindset, again, everything you do, you want to do to the best of your ability. It's a really powerful place to be. Look good, feel good, be good, did that. And then greater good, I think I finished up with, just it could be something as simple as a compliment or, letting someone in traffic, the silliest things, that sometimes it's not that difficult. It's us that complicate our lives.
Well, I love how that creates a sort of a holistic ripple effect.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. And again, I mean, it just is. It's kind of like I wake up in the morning, and first of all, full of gratitude and thanking the universe for the million reasons I should be grateful, and for the bounty and the abundance that I do have. But I'll just go out and I'm just good morning, good morning. Good. I mean, I'm just doing my walk and doing my good morning, morning, morning. Some people respond and some people don't, but that's okay. Right. So, it's a fun place to be. It's a healthy place to be. I think it's a kinder place to be. Wishing everybody a good morning or all the things, it sounds silly. Again, sounds very almost, again, trifling. It's very, okay, Clarissa, it's very airy fairy. No, it's a real thing, and so the other thing I would say is
that proves, in the sense, seeing your experience, you've had extraordinary experiences, like from presenting on Russian TV at the Kremlin to audiences with the Pope, and supporting African women peace efforts
for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. So obviously being somewhat grateful, don't you think that the universe sort of brings these experiences
Absolutely.
to you, or opens doorways to you? And
without a doubt.
Talk a little bit about your experiences as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Barbara. And it's, it kind of brings me back to the thought of old habits don't open new doors, And so, I wasn't always like this. It took me a while to get here. I came from a very, it wasn't the easiest of backgrounds. It wasn't the easiest of childhoods. I had to, go through this thing called life and find out all of its, I think I found every bump in the road, quite frankly. They were all there, it's kind of like, it's one of those kind of things like, there's almost nothing you can throw at me right now. There's nothing you could do apart from, a diagnosis of, of a horrible disease. There's nothing I haven't affronted by myself. I mean, and with the help of friends and family, of course, but, just getting rid of the old habits. And that is kind of, we go back to chapter 1 with the releasing of the old, right? And chapter 2 is rebuilding, like, which is the life that I want to live? And how am I going to make that happen? Not my mother's, idea of my life, not my father's idea of not my husband's idea of my life, and so building that whole, foundation, that structure around you that's going to support you in your new decisions, and knowing that not everybody's going to be happy about it, and some people are going to get their noses out of joint, and that goes back to the word courage. Having the courage and the confidence. It's confidence. I'm in Italy. I've lived here for I did live here for 30 years, and I'm back and forth all the time. Confidence is confidere, and that means with trust. So if you say self-confidence, you're saying trust in self. So having that trust in yourself, which is sometimes hard to conjure up. It's like, well, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I can do that. Well, who am I to think I could do that? Well, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Find that trust in yourself, challenge yourself. And then from challenges that you overcome and that you will learn trust in yourself, right? That's them. Don't
Listening
trust.
to your gut instinct,
There you
being
are.
true to yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we're in a constant state of evolution. So people say to me constantly, well, I mean, do you ever like get it right? Kind of like, do you take a self-esteem test and get 100? Well, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Sorry. I wish it did. It'd be great. But it doesn't work that way because life is life and it will trigger, it ebbs and flows. And it's our sacred duty to work on ourselves and on our self-improvement. And I liken it to a well-rooted tree. Right? Here comes the storm, here comes that tornado, but we got that well-rooted tree. Well, that well-rooted tree, as that storm goes through, might lose a leaf or two, could even lose a branch, right? But it's not going to be uprooted with the storm and transported away. And because it has, you've got the tools in the shed on any given moment that you have, that you've accumulated over the years through life itself, the books that you read, the courses that you take, the people you surround yourself with, life's lessons. And so they're all out there in that shed for what's coming next. I know that there are things that you could throw at me today that really wouldn't ruffle my feathers much. When in my 20s, I might have fallen apart, or gone into a depressive state, or, name the scenario. And so that's why I'm constantly underlining, underscoring, and tolling the importance of, self-esteem, working on yourself, again, self-improvement, personal development. When I was a child, and you may remember this, Barbara, I know you're not in the United States. I think, are you English or you're not American, right? You're not American, but you remember.
I was born and brought up in Zambia in Central
Right.
Africa.
So you'll remember, So you'll remember back in the day, or at least in the United States, there we didn't have internet yet. There was, our information came through books and maybe courses or classes or schools.
And encyclopedias.
And encyclopedias, exactly. So, in the States in my day, there was, Walden Books, Border Books, and Barnes & Noble. That's what we had. In the very back, and I'm talking to you about the 70s, the 80s, right? There was a little section called self-help. And in that self-help section, I might have found 40 books, maybe 50 books, but that was it. And it was this self-help thing, and everybody was kind of like, what the heck is what is that? Well, now, I'm glad to say my book is in Barnes & Noble, which is a grand crowning moment for me. And I still pinch myself, but it's now rows upon rows upon rows upon rows upon rows upon rows upon rows of what they now call personal development. And it's $1 billion industry. Bringing back the point that we are all always, I think, looking for assistance, guidance, a way in, a way out, the reason why, and so instead of just going through life and kind of going, well, I'll figure it out one of these days, making this a part of your daily routine. Read a chapter a day. Read a chapter a day of doesn't have to be my book, The Self-Esteem Regime. It could be anybody's book. Find a book or an author that resonates with you. And by the way, my book isn't you're going to read about self-esteem. You're going to do self-esteem. It's really a manual, and it's got each chapter is just chock full of things to do, and Clarissa's Corner and the Daily Demons and case studies and quotes. And I love quotes. I'm crazy about quotes.
Me too.
Yeah, I just love quotes. And I put them out almost every day on social. So that we can kind of learn from other people's perspective as well, and other people's other authors, other thought leaders, other think tankers that are putting out some amazing quotes. You kind of go, God, boy, that really hit. I love that. I'm gonna hold on to that and make that, kind of like put that in my tool shed in the back. Right there's that tool shed that that we add to every day. Right. So yeah.
I kind of love that you use the tool shed analogy, because it's something that I also talk about with my clients.
Right.
I always say it's a toolbox. You're collecting all your tools and you're putting it in your little toolbox. And if something happens in life, that you go to your toolbox and you pull out the appropriate tool to help you get through whatever you're going through.
Right.
Yeah,
I get it.
On the same page as you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the more people really need to understand that they are the ones that have to take responsibility for their emotional pain. And
Yeah.
I don't think many of us get off of this rock or this planet without going through something, right?
No, we all
Um,
do.
yeah, I think we need to coddle ourselves less and cuddle ourselves more, and kind of, give myself a little cuddle, but I'm not going to coddle too much. I'm going to get to it. I talk about we all talk about that extra mile, right? Oh, going the extra mile. Got to go the extra mile. The 1%ers going the extra mile. Well, that extra mile sometimes, darn, I got to tell you, that is the longest mile. It's the darkest mile. It's raining and it's cold and blustery and with, again, I get no dark, but there's like a light, right? That all the way down, there's this little teeny light. And so it's when you turn around, okay, everybody, let's go. You turn around, you go, oh my God, where did everybody go? They're not there. I thought we were going to do this all together. I thought I was going to have my team around me. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. That's kind of where you have to take that one step at a time, again, with grand courage and knowing that every step you take, that light at the end of the tunnel gets bigger, bolder, brighter, and more beautiful every step you take. So trust in yourself, and have the courage to continue to work. Because when you start to work on yourself, as many of us know, it's not going to be always, a walk in the park.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
So you can either conform or transform is what I like to say. Conform to, the status quo and the way things are, or you can transform and become the person you really, really want to be.
Well, you were knighted by the Royal Order of Constantine the Great and
Yes.
Saint Helen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what does this honor mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, it's a lovely honor. You're nominated. And then, of course, it goes through a process. The prince who runs Prince Raphael, who runs the Royal Order, agrees to have you be a part. And so that in itself is an honor. For me personally, I think it was a nod to say, good on you for the work that you've done, the work that you've done for others, how you have helped others. It was the same thing when I met with, Pope John Paul II as well. These are, I guess, accolades that others feel they'd like to bestow upon you, which is really great. It doesn't change my life really in any way. It doesn't change my daily life. It doesn't change who I am or how I progress in life, but they are definitely lovely moments where, you go, wow, okay, thank you. You take that in. You take, you don't go, oh, come on, I really don't deserve that. Again, when someone says thank you, I think that what you're doing is a great thing or it's an amazing thing. That's your time to, take a deep breath, take that all in and just say thank you, right? And that's another really important part of self-esteem is don't be downtrodden about yourself. Don't be negating the great things that you are and that you've done. Receive those accolades and those compliments with grace and with thanks.
Well, it must have been such a proud moment for you.
It was lovely. It was lovely. Thank you.
Did you feel that it sort of brought it all like a full circle moment, or
It
or
kind
do you want to strive for way more and keep on striving?
Well, I think, that's a great question too. I think what it did was it just gave me, I knew where my heart was, and I knew, again, I'm not perfect and I do make mistakes, but let's just start there. But when you get a recognition of this kind, it's because not because you're out there extolling your your greatness. People are seeing, people are watching. I often get a lot of people say, "Oh, you really need to tell people more what you're doing and who you are and where you've been and things you've done." And I know I don't. No, I don't.
Sorry.
That's okay. I think he agrees. No, you don't. I don't need to do that. It's okay. I don't need to be out there showing off and telling people, oh, you gotta come on. No, I'm good. I do it because I want to do it. I love doing what I do. When I do it, and you say thank you and move on. I mean, I don't live my life in order to have a title or to be seen and to be complimented. I don't. I live a very, very quiet life. Right now I've got a quiet life, and I used to be more in the spotlight, or in the limelight, as I called my company. On lots of stages and in front of a microphone and things along those lines. But I'm just, I'm at a point in my life now, Barbara, at 66 years old now, where I'm really starting to, I just want to slow things down a little bit, really smell the roses, have a beautiful day, and, engage with lovely people. I don't fight. I live in peace. I have no contention. There's very little stress, if any. I mean, I'm worried about my mother because her health isn't great. But outside of that, I'm in a really good place. I love where I am.
Oh, well, that's, well, I'm very happy to hear it. And it's something for all of us to aspire to.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the other thing. It's said by John Maxwell: sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So if you're not winning everything you do, which is fine, because that's the whole thing about failure, and I can get to that in a second. But sometimes you win, yay, and sometimes if you didn't, you learned, right? And so we could apply that to relationships, we could apply that to work, we apply that to many different things.
I like the way you use the word learn and you don't use the word fail.
Yeah. Well, failing is,
there's a huge difference to it.
Failing is nothing more than your first attempt in learning, right? It's a first attempt in learning. And so we're all going to fail. Just, hey, listen, just mark it down, because it's going to happen and you're going to do it, and it's okay, because when you fail, you're that much closer to success, right? You know what you're not going to do next time. Now let's go figure out a next step. What's the next step toward your success, right? And so many people, see, they agree. And so there you go. I mean, just put it down. Failure is a part of life. Success is a part of life. So now, do you think that the first car that came off the assembly line was the perfect? No. Do you think the first light bulb that, was it? No. Whatever it is, all the inventions, all the things, all the things that surround us, I mean, everybody failed. There was never a straight to the point. It was right the first. Very rarely is it right the first time. So, put that down as something that, is to be expected, and then learn how to deal with, failure with grace, with honesty, and with fortitude, with the idea that you're going to pick yourself back up, try again.
Well, I think it's a nice way. It was a lovely way to end our podcast. So in closing, where can our listeners get in touch with you or to buy your book?
Well, the books can be bought on Amazon worldwide. So if you just go to your Amazon, wherever you're listening from, you should be able to find the Self-Esteem Regime by Clarissa Burt. It's on Kindle and Audible as well. And for those in the States, they can walk right into a Barnes & Noble store and buy it on the shelf. And in Italy, you can buy it too, but this is different. That would be an Italian interview.
Well, you never know. There may be a few Italians listening to this podcast.
There you go. You never do know. Thank you, Barbara.
Well, thank you, Clarissa, for sharing all your expertise and insights and wisdom with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you as my guest.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your time and for being such a lovely guest on my show.
Appreciate you very much. Thanks.
Same here.
Thanks for listening to Barbara's podcast. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter or e-courses. Celebrate life, and see you at the next episode.